Yeah, I read stuff, articles and books about family business, and you know, there's some horror stories out there. Maybe there's something wrong with us because I've never felt any pressure. I think I don't know how it happened, but lots of times we kind of were on the same wavelength. He'll come in and say, you know, it's happened one time.
No, let me tell that story.
That was funny. I remember that. Go ahead, tell that story.
I went, this is 10 years ago or so, and I went into Doug's office and I said, there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about. And Doug said, wait a minute. He took out a little piece of paper and wrote down. Okay, go ahead. And the two things, believe it or not, that I wanted to talk to him about, he had written down. He already knew what I was going to say to him.
I remember I was home at Christmas, on Christmas break from teaching. I told Dad, I said, hey, I'm thinking about coming back to the wine business. He said, great. He said, I don't have a job for you. And
we had a winemaker at the time.
And I was actually surprised he said that. I looked at him, I said, well, I don't want to work for you anyway. And so I came back and hooked up over at a place called Lake Spring Winery with a guy named Randy Mason. I was Randy's assistant winemaker, which is a nice title for a cellar rat. It was a two-man operation. 3 years later, the guy who was making wine for Dad just, decided to move on, and Dad approached me and said, you want to come over and be the winemaker? And I quite honestly told him no. He said, what do you mean? And I said, I'm not ready. I know enough about this business to know that I don't really know how to make top wine yet. And he responded with, well, look, it's a small valley. If I get somebody else, that they know that Doug Shafer's over at this other winery and he might be coming over someday, so let's just do it now. And we jumped in 1983 and have been going at it ever since.
Here's where I learned something from Doug, because he came in 20 years ago and said, Dad, this is our new wine. And I said, what's this? He said, port. And I said, where'd you get the grapes? Oh, he said, we got them from Sunspot that goes into our Hillside Select. I said, well, how'd you learn how to make the wine? He said, oh, we got a book at the library.
No. He said, you took... I said Sunspot, which is our pride and joy, the vineyard he planted, and he said, you took 300 gallons of my Cabernet and you did this to it? Okay, you can continue. So.
I said, well, we can't jeopardize our reputation, so we'll just give it away. We got such a good response to that wine that we now sell it, and it's in nice demand. People like it very much indeed. And you did it all by yourself.
He has been a wonderful mentor. He's... I never went to business school or anything like that. My MBA in business has come from this guy. But the most important thing I think he's taught me is how to treat people, how to work with it and treat people we work with here and take good care of them and build a solid team. Without this team, this business wouldn't happen. Some of my best memories are sitting in the lab with Dad and Elias, and the three of us, tasting different blends, looking at grape samples, when to pick, when to not pick, back and forth. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? There were really heady times. They were fun. The energy that the three of us spent working together was tremendous, and we figured it out.